All right, welcome back, everyone. We're diving back into some familiar territory today.
Familiar, but maybe a little bit awkward.
Yeah, definitely leaning into the awkward for this deep dive for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, so you guys might remember a little while back we did a deep dive on the smallest manhood ever recorded,
Right.
and the guy who unfortunately holds that record, his online name is Go Herping,
Go herping. Yeah.
and
Catchy.
yeah, it's catchy. But we talked a bit about the record itself last time. This time around, we're going to kind of shift focus a little and look more like his overall online presence.
Right, his digital life.
His digital life, yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got some interesting sources to work with here. We've got some clips from this podcast that I found. It's called Breaking Records and Leases, The Unbelievable Life of Go Herping.
Okay.
And we've also got this YouTube transcript that we're going to be pulling from as well. And that one gets kind of dramatic. It's basically like a roommate saga playing out in the YouTube comments and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's going to be juicy. So, last time we focused on the whole, Guinness World Record thing.
Right.
But I think what's really interesting this time around is how this guy's kind of using social media to connect with people and sort of like build a community around this whole experience, which I think is really unusual, right?
Yeah, I mean, you don't really see that every day. Someone taking something that could be, pretty private and personal
Yeah.
and kind of turning it into this platform for connecting with others.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think most people would shy away from the spotlight if they were in that situation, but
Especially online. I mean, think about it. The internet can be brutal.
right?
So to kind of lean into something like that and be so open about it is kind of fascinating,
Yeah, and he really does lean into it too. Like I remember when we did our first deep dive, we talked about that tweet that he put out right after he got the record,
Right.
and it was just so funny. He was like, "Well, at least I'm breaking records, not the one I wanted. Hey, I'll take it."
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, it's like, what do you even say to that? I mean, the guy's got a sense of humor about it, that's for sure.
Right. I mean, you gotta admire that, right?
Absolutely. I mean, to be able to find the humor in a situation like that, it takes a certain, I don't know, self-awareness,
Yeah.
perspective maybe, but it's definitely refreshing.
Yeah, and maybe that's part of what makes him so relatable online. Like he's not taking himself too seriously. He's kind of owning it. And I think people respond to that.
I think so too. It's like he's saying, "Hey, this is me, take it or leave it." And you know what? People are taking it. They're connecting with him.
Yeah, they are. And so speaking of connecting, let's talk about this whole YouTube roommate drama that I mentioned earlier. So the transcript we have, it's from a video where Go Herping is basically talking about this really intense situation with his roommate.
Oh.
And it's clear that things are really bad. Like we're talking huge blow up fight.
Yeah.
Go Herping, emptying the house in the middle of the night, the whole 9 yards. It's crazy.
Wow. Like actually emptying the house in the middle of the night. That's next level drama.
Right. And he's filming all of it, documenting the entire meltdown for his YouTube channel.
Wow. So it's not just like he's mentioning it in passing. He's like actively bringing his audience into this really personal and messy situation.
Yeah, exactly. And it gets even wilder because he's also updating his community on this platform called Discord, which is basically like a live group chat.
Yeah.
So he's texting updates as things are happening.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, so it's super real time. It's not even just edited videos after the fact. It's this is happening right now and I'm bringing you guys along for the ride.
That's a pretty unique approach. I mean, it's one thing to share your thoughts and feelings after you've had some time to process things, but to kind of put it all out there as it's happening,
Right.
that's pretty raw. I mean, do you think there's a strategy behind that?
It's hard to say for sure. Maybe it's a way of dealing with the stress of the situation.
Yeah, maybe.
Sharing it with his community almost makes it feel less overwhelming. Or maybe he's just a really open person and that's just how he processes things.
Maybe. It's definitely a way to connect with your audience on a deeper level. I mean, you're letting them see you at your most vulnerable,
Yeah, and you know what? It's working. I mean, people are watching, they're commenting, they're engaging with his content. He's built a real community around all of this. And I think it goes back to what we were saying earlier about his authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
He's not afraid to be himself, even when it's messy or awkward or, just plain weird.
Yeah, you're right. It's like he's this breath of fresh air in this online world that's so often about, presenting this perfect image.
Right.
He's just being real. And I think
Yeah.
people crave that.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think this whole approach to social media is a strength for him, ultimately? Or is it a risk? I mean, there's got to be downsides to being so open and vulnerable all the time, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you open yourself up to criticism, to judgment. People can be ruthless, especially online.
Yeah.
But I think the potential rewards outweigh the risks, you know? When you're genuine, you attract people who connect with you on a genuine level, and you
Yeah.
build a community of people who get you, who appreciate your honesty. And I
Right.
think that's something really special, especially in today's world.
It is, yeah. And I think Go Herping's story really gets at something kind of fundamental about the way we use social media these days.
Mhm.
Like, are we more drawn to perfectly curated content? Or are we looking for something real, something authentic?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? And I think the answer might be different for everyone. But I know for me, I'd rather see someone being themselves, flaws and all, than some, airbrushed version of reality.
Me too. It's just more interesting. It's more human.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes Go Herping's story so fascinating, kind of thought-provoking too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I guess the question I'll leave you guys with is this. What kind of online presence are you drawn to? What makes you hit that follow button? Is it the perfect picture, the witty caption, or is it something deeper, something more real? Think about it and let us know in the comments. And in the meantime, stay tuned for more fascinating deep dives coming your way soon. We'll see you next time.